In 1997, Apple was 90 days from bankruptcy. Today, it makes more money in one quarter than most countries make in an entire year. But here's the part nobody tells you. The iPhone in your pocket, Apple barely cares if you buy it. What they actually want is something much smarter and much more profitable. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. 1976, a garage in Los Altos, California. Two men barely out of their teens, working by themselves with no funding and no plan beyond the next few weeks. Steve Wozniak is 25. He's not a businessman. He's an engineer obsessed with one question: how few parts can you use to build a working computer? He designs circuit boards for fun, for free, just to see if he can. Steve Jobs is 21. He can't write code the way Wozniak can, but he sees something Wozniak doesn't, that what's sitting in this garage could be sold. There's no investor pitch, no business plan. Jobs sells his Volkswagen van, Wozniak sells his calculator. That's the seed money for the Apple one. It sells for $666.66. Not a marketing stunt, Wozniak just liked the number. Then comes the Apple II. And this is where the story usually speeds up, because the Apple II becomes one of the first mass-market personal computers in history. Instant success, instant credibility. But here's what most people get wrong about this part of Apple's story. In these early years, Jobs isn't the visionary yet. He's the salesman riding on Wozniak's engineering. The Jobs everyone talks about today, the perfectionist, the tyrant, the genius, that version of him hasn't shown up. He's about to. And when he does, it nearly destroys the company first. Fast forward to 1985. Apple has grown into a real company now, with a real board, real investors, and a CEO that Jobs himself handpicked just 2 years earlier, John Sculley, poached from Pepsi. And in one of the most brutal ironies in business history, Sculley turns the board against Jobs. Jobs is stripped of his responsibilities and pushed out of the company he co-founded. Not fired in a dramatic public spectacle, just quietly maneuvered out. Apple spends the next decade lost, product after product that nobody wants. Meanwhile, a company most people had written off, Microsoft, is eating Apple's lunch in the personal computer market. By 1997, Apple isn't just struggling, it is weeks away from running out of cash completely. 90 days by most estimates from bankruptcy. This is the part every Apple success story conveniently leaves out. Apple didn't rise in a straight line from a garage to $1 trillion. It nearly died. Completely. And the only person who could save it was the same man the company had thrown away 12 years earlier. Jobs returns in 1997, and he doesn't ease back in. He kills almost everything. Something like 70% of Apple's entire product line gets cut within his first year back. Ruthless, unpopular, and it turns out exactly what the company needed. 1998 brings the iMac. Not the most powerful computer on the market, not even close, but it's the first computer that looks like it was designed instead of assembled. Translucent colors, a single cable. It shouldn't matter this much, but it does, and it saves the company's momentum. Then, 2001, the iPod. And this is Apple's first real reinvention, walking into an industry it has never touched. Music. Nobody expected a computer company to end up controlling how the world listens to songs. But 1,000 songs in your pocket becomes one of the most effective product pitches ever written. And then, 2007, the iPhone. Not just a good product, arguably the single most profitable product any company has ever created in the history of business. Here's where most videos about Apple just end the story. Look how far they came. Garage to global superpower. Roll credits. But that's not actually the interesting part, because the iPhone, the product everyone thinks made Apple a $3 trillion company, isn't actually where most of Apple's future profit comes from. What I'm about to show you is the real machine behind that valuation. And almost nobody talks about it, because it's boring on the surface. It's not a shiny product launch. It's something much smarter. The iPhone is the bait. Once you own one, you don't just own a phone. You own an entry point into an ecosystem that's engineered, deliberately, to make leaving painful. iCloud storage holds your photos. iMessage keeps your conversations green bubble proof among friends. AirPods pair instantly, but only with Apple devices.